Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of Dice Trays Action. Before we get into the action part of tonight, just one quick shout out to Lost Haven Art for our amazing logo and the assets that became our overlay, and you can find them over at Lost Haven Art on Twitter. Now, with that done, let's do the recap and get into the action. Aksha, why don't you take it from here?
I believe we were sent down to the docks to find information about a fish. So when we got down there, we met a shady potion seller named Ethan, I believe.
Okay.
Got potions.
Got it.
And then went on to the Snapper on a Stick fish place and got some fish and talked to Snacko, the kobold owner. Aksha got to speak in native. It was fun. Then they went on to, and she told them about Bozer and someone they had to go talk to. Then they moved on to a shop. I forget the name of the shop. And also a pie shop. Talked to a little pie lady there who makes pies and learned that they didn't know Lena's son's name. Yep. Mistake. Then they went to the guard, talked to Velder Silverston, and he gave them the lowdown about what's going on and wants them to work secretly for him. And they're to meet him at the inn in the morning.
Does anyone remember which inn? Good.
Damn it, I remembered this name all last session and I can't remember it now.
Good.
Tell us, what was it called?
No, I like this. I like watching you guys sort of struggle with it. No, I believe it was going to be the Quiet Night Inn
Oh
Quiet
yes,
Night.
the Quiet Night Inn.
by the yard. Yes. So just to expound a little bit, when you say that you got some potions, that's one way to put it. This poor soul who was essentially strong-armed out of his goods.
You seem nice.
They're just
He
really
seemed
good
kind.
shoppers.
And very
Yes.
giving.
He gave us all those potions for free. I don't understand why somebody would be so kind into such things.
Yes, clearly he was nice. Yeah, and then met up with Snacko, who was very proud of their shop, and Needful Necessities, which was where Girna picked up some polish, right?
Yep.
Was there anything
That
else
would
you
be a
guys picked
shiny
up over
boot.
there?
Toby asked questions about Bozer, but Bozer had not been there.
Unfortunately. You met another in a long line, it seems, of pie makers.
Pies are very popular in Southreach.
Easy to make, easy to carry, easy to eat. Why not? And then you you sat down with Valder Silversun and drove him absolutely nuts, but still seemed like the best opportunity for him to do something he's been told not to do. And so the group of you agreed to assist with the task of finding out what's going on with the seemingly many missing people who have come to Southreach.
And Toby learned about aquariums and thinks this place is crazy.
That is true, and Toby learned about aquariums and thinks this place is crazy. Okay, so with that, I think the best course of action is for us to progress a little bit forward. From there, you guys will have excused yourselves from the guard outpost, hopefully without interacting or meeting with any of the more animate dogs that they use to sniff out magic. And where was it that you planned to head next?
I believe we were actually gonna go head to the inn. That's why we bought those pies.
So which inn are you heading towards?
The Quiet Night Inn.
Okay.
That's the place where the guy really likes pies, right?
The Klaus?
Yeah.
Yes, that is the place that you have heard is where Klaus is.
Klaus the pie eater.
Klaus the pie eater.
We were going to try and trick him and jump him with pies. Yes.
Are we
So-
doping the pies?
And we're
Yes,
jumping
what
the
is-
dude.
What is the plan for this exactly?
Yeah, from yeah, I'm just gonna hand it off to you guys and we can take it from here
Oh,
with you
that
guys
was in
making your
character.
way. Yeah, I'm just,
We steal the pies from Klaus.
No, we bought pies. We've two
To-
pies, very bad pies, but pies.
To give to Klaus.
My understanding was someone wanted to use it as a trap for him.
Oh,
Why do we need to trap this man? I'm sure that if we simply arrive and perhaps put him in a better mood with some delicious
They are not.
pie.
They do not look delicious.
Oh, well, hopefully he will disagree and perhaps answer some questions that we have.
Would someone want to lead
I'm
the
gonna
charge of
ask-
offering him the pies?
may I see a pie?
I hand him both pies. It's a carrot pie and what was the other pie?
Pear pie.
hair. Yeah.
There.
Pear. Yes.
I'm gonna sniff both of them. And like, Klaus will want these pies?
That's what everyone has been implying since we got here.
I give you back the pies.
Okay, I take the pies. Does
My
anyone
friend,
want to?
Are you confused? I understand that there is no fish in these pies, and I find that may be a little confusing for you.
Even without fish, pies do not smell fresh.
Oh, are these old pies?
We believe they're new. We paid for new.
Hmm. Hmm.
Do you sense something off about these pies, my friend?
I am not experienced in making pie, but perhaps you would know more than I.
If you'd like, you could roll me a survival or a perception to try and discern more about these pies.
Who?
You or Kunskap, either one is fine. I figure if you're sniffing at them, you could probably do it. You could do a perception smell. I don't know if you get any bonuses for that. I don't think so, but
I'm like, where do you want me to find this?
give me 1 second, and I will double check it right now.
Fiona's just kind of chilling there with absolutely no opinion one way or another because she can neither taste nor smell. They're just lumps of material.
Yeah.
Just gotta
Okay.
take your word for it.
So it'll just be a straight perception check.
So what do you want me to roll you?
D20, and you'll add your perception, which is +2. What do we got?
That'd be an 8.
8. They smell like pie.
Hmm.
Yeah, just
Toby
pie.
is just not familiar with carrot and pear pie.
They're definitely a choice.
I do not
Well,
believe either of these things grow where we are from.
No. Even in trade, very old, sometimes rotten.
they said that he likes any and all pies, so Perhaps we will get lucky.
Does anyone
Yes.
want to take the pie as an offer to him?
Well, he thief. How we know who he is? We have to drag him out.
No, I don't think that they are actual thief. I believe that uh it's just a term of endearment for the man who just very, very much likes pies.
Oh,
Because
Klaus, pie lover.
yes. What do we want to
So-
ask Klaus? We should figure out what we're asking Klaus.
What he know about Moscow?
And the man who was investing in him, yes?
Yes, Fletch. Yes.
So we go to inn with pie, ask for Klaus, give Klaus pie, ask about Moscow and Fletch.
Seems like the plan.
Where
And
is inn?
possibly about other disappearances too.
So it's a bit of a walk, but eventually you do find yourselves standing outside of a relatively large, although a bit ramshackled and worn down building that has hanging off of the side of it from a small series of chains a sign that says "The Quiet Night." Uh, Even from the outside, this place seems to match the aesthetic of the not too far off yards relatively well, with all sorts of cobwebs and rot seemingly spread throughout. It is not the quaintest of places.
It's the future. We must not take any recommendations from Annie.
I don't see anything wrong with this place. And they will enter the building.
Sure. So you push open the door, and there is the light jingle of a bell. The first thing you see as you enter Kunskap is that the interior matches the exterior very well. There are more of these sort of cobwebs, although they look thick and perhaps a bit more purposefully left or created than the ones that were outside, filling corners and hanging from rafters that seem to sort of be cracked and worn with age. You see a couple of people sort of scattered throughout. It's not a particularly large downstairs area, but there is a set of stairs leading up, which is more likely than not going to be where the rooms are for the inn portion. You also notice that almost immediately the movement to your left just sort of quickly passing by. As you turn to look, you hear before you see the "ah" of this crow just sort of flap past you and land on the shoulder of an older dwarven gentleman who seems to be tending bar. He glances in your direction and goes, "Welcome to the Quiet Night. Have a seat. I'll be with you in a minute." Ah! Don't do it! Shut up.
I shall activate my spell. Speak with animals immediately upon that.
Sure.
And say to the crow, I'm not sure if you meant to say that. Is there something I should be worried about?
Oh, shit. He's a dick.
Yes. Well, Why are you here if you don't like him?
Good eats. It's and he just sort of like looks up at the bird on his shoulder and then over at Kunskap and just go, is this happening? What?
Hoonskop continues. Well, if you ever do need to go somewhere else, just let me know. I have a flock of friends nearby that will most likely take you in upon my word.
Friends.
Yeah.
Good.
Koonskop goes and sits down in a corner booth.
You overhear the dwarf go, hey, you're making friends now, huh? It's better than what you've been doing. Ah! Don't do it!
Just keep an eye out for me, my friend. Let me know if he pulls anything.
Watching. Always watching. Ah!
And as Koonskop sits down, they push a good berry in within like a hop distance of the crow.
So the crow sort of hops down and like looks over at it. And as he's like staring at it, the dwarf approaches and he goes, if it's not pie, you won't eat it. And he like pokes at it with his beak a bit and then sort of like pushes it back to you.
Takes it and put it back in my pocket. Ah, yes. Well, it happens so fact, and motions to I believe Bori has the pies, yes?
Yes.
We actually brought some pies.
Oh, and here I was hoping I'd get to sell some more food. Welcome to the Quiet Night. I'm Pavish. This is my, well, if we're not mincing words, this is my shithole, and I'm real proud of it.
It's not
And
that
turns to the crow and says, would you rather a slice of carrot or pear?
And the crow almost, like, pauses for a moment, and then looks up at Pavish, and then back at you. What?
We have carrot and pear pie.
Wait, is the bird Klaus?
How did you know his name? See, you're getting popular now.
Thief. Huh.
Hey, there's no proof
Buri
of
will
that.
just
There's no
Put his-
proof.
Yana just slowly puts her face in her hand.
There is
Yeah.
no proof whatsoever that
Toby
Klaus has
walks
stolen any
right
pies.
up to the. Toby walks right up to the bar, like right next to the dwarf, like, but kind of his shoulder toward him, looking down at the bird.
Sure.
Give pie to Klaus. Ask questions.
You want to ask Klaus questions.
I'll
Yeah,
take out the pies and put it in front of Klaus.
I don't understand why
And-
this is so strange.
Klaus like picks at it for a moment and then just starts attacking the pie.
Well,
Wow, it's such a good thing you guys have a druid in the party.
good bird.
Well, I was gonna say I don't know how much help he's gonna be, but your friend seems to understand him pretty well. It's,
Yes,
it's interesting.
As luck would have it.
What is it
Yeah.
that you would like me to ask of our new feathered friend?
He just keeps
After
picking at the pie.
giving the pies to him, Rory's gonna walk over to Scott and just whisper, ask if he knows anything about the sun.
I think I need to be a little bit more descriptive.
So you're really gonna interrogate my bird? I just want to make sure we're on the same page here. That's what's happening here.
Interrogate.
It looks like it.
I am not. No, I'm having a conversation.
Yes, they are friendly questions and nothing more.
They
You'll
are a
have
friend of birds.
you will have to excuse my confusion. I've never had someone come in here and want anything with Klaus besides, well, bad things.
Ask him if he knows anyone who recently came to the city who made pies. If I'm right, that's what the son came here to do.
I turn to Klaus and I say, "My friend, I wonder if you know of any pie makers who came to the city before suddenly vanishing."
He's just sort of like gorging himself on one of the pear pies, and he stops. And as he like quirks his little bird head, a little fleck of like pear just goes flying. New faces?
Yes.
New faces. No! No new faces! Pie! And he like dives back into the pie.
What was your favorite pie you ever had, and when did you have it?
Favorite pies. Favorite pies. Apple pies. I like the apple pies.
When did you last have a good apple pie?
Couple days. Few suns, not many.
And who did you acquire it from?
Fletch makes best pies. Cake pies. My pies.
I turn to Brewery and I say, "No, it seems that Klaus does not know of any recent disappearances of pie makers."
This and for a moment, you see Pavish's brown eyes sort of shine for a moment. He leans in and very quietly he goes, "Did that son of a bitch finally fuck off?"
Who were you referring to?
That motherfucker who keeps suggesting that my dear Klaus here could possibly be stealing his pies. Of which, of course, there is no proof of whatsoever. At all.
Was his name Moscow?
No, it's Fletch over at the Warmest Side.
Ah. Oh.
And we must also go speak to Fletch.
Damn.
I
So
know.
not him.
Klaus, has there ever been someone who can speak to you as I do?
No.
And how long? And Kunskap turns to the shoulder he's perched on and says, "How long have you had Klaus?"
Klaus and I have been together for a good 6 years now.
Very strange.
Found him when he was a baby.
Fletch was teaching Moscow like his techniques and stuff, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
that
just
is
making
that is what you've been told.
Okay. So
It just came to mind. Did we ask anything about what the sun looks like?
Lena had a picture.
Like that's drawn out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have that picture on us still?
No, she has it.
We saw it though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw it.
Yeah, so we would know within reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
Were you aware that Fletch had taken in an apprentice?
I can't imagine anyone tolerating him long enough for that. And to be fair, I don't know how anyone who stays there tolerates him.
I lean in, like lean down, and ask, "What does Fletch look like?"
Oh, so
As you're stuttering, he's like, "Is Fletch a bird?"
no. What? Why would Fletch be a bird?
Toby just turns, looks at the bird on his shoulder, looks back.
Okay, I guess I can't argue with that. Uh, logic. No, he's not a bird. He's a human. Hmm. Shaved head. Always looks like he's out of breath.
Interesting.
Little bits of stubble usually. He doesn't take good care of himself.
Well, then perhaps we should move on and see if we can go speak to this person
Well, before you
who is
go,
not a bird.
Just out of curiosity, have you seen anyone new to the town? A kid named Bosco? Should be a halfling, right? A halfling?
uh, name doesn't strike out to me at all.
Insight check?
Yeah, sure.
That is a 15 from me, but oh, I got absolutely slammed.
21.
Yeah, he seems like he's being honest. It's pretty clear he doesn't really care too much. This obviously hasn't affected his day to day, and the only thing that he seems to know about it is what you've told him, which is that this kid was Fletch's apprentice, and that has not made him more willing or interested in helping or being concerned.
As a passing thing, I would also like to look for runes about.
Sure. Are you gonna like do what you did in the last place, or are you just sort of glancing around?
The marks that my people would leave would be in a place that wouldn't be easily seen, but not out of sight so much that they're impossible to find.
Sure. What is that?
That is a 19.
Okay. There don't seem to be any runes that stick out to you here.
I do feel a little strange coming into a place of hospitality and not accepting said hospitality. What is it that you offer here?
No, not pies. We have drink. We have some good non-sweet foods, and there are rooms upstairs if you are in need.
This
Don't
is
do
the
it!
place that we agreed to meet up with the officer, right? Would we be able to rent some rooms here for the night?
Absolutely, you could. Do you want the specialty package, or are you just looking for normal, boring rooms?
What is the specialty package?
Well, in case you haven't realized yet, he says as he sort of like motions around the place, and almost like on cue as he does, Klaus sort of takes off and starts flapping around. Little bits of pie sort of falling off of his beak as he goes. Oh, it's we've sort of really taken to being as close to the yards as we are. So there's the specialty package, which is the spooky rooms, once said to be haunted by the long forgotten dead. And then there are the normal rooms. They're boring and have no ghosts.
The more important question is if they have mold.
No, we've been mold free since I got the place. But not when I got the place. That's a whole other story.
Klaus, what is is there a certain trick that your feeder has been doing upon people who stay here? You seem to be continuously warning us of something.
No, it's just what he wants me to say.
Ah. Seems like an interesting way to invite new people in with a bird saying, go away, or don't do it.
He calls it charming.
For the first time, everybody hears Kunskap make a bit of sounds like a snort, but is kind of a laugh.
Klaus sort of lands and goes back to eating the pie.
I'll go with the normal room.
I will also take a boring room.
Actually, don't want to share with ghosts, so normal room.
A lot of you boring, it's fine.
I already have lodging. However, I will pay for my friends for a night.
To accompany you, Kunskap, tonight if you are willing.
I am willing for anything, but I have certain spiritual obligations that I need to continue.
I shall not be in your way.
I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
I shall not be in your way.
Then it seems 3 rooms shall be paid for by me.
That'll be 8 silver. And I will suggest, considering our closeness to the yard, it may not be the best idea to be wandering around too late after sunset. There's plenty of stories.
How late?
Walking Dead. What?
How late is it right now?
It's probably around the like 3 or 4.
Okay.
To ask, what was name of Fletch's business?
It's the warm aside.
Warm side?
Aside.
Aside. Okay.
Kunskap reaches into their robes and pulls out well, there's a bit of fiddling at first, as if trying to search within the robes for a specific item, and pulls out a pouch of something, smells it. No, that's not it. Puts it back in, pulls out a few bones and looks around. No, that's not it. And then pulls out from the other side of the robe a very large bag of coins. And reaches in and pulls out the 8 silver, searching through it as if trying to find the exact right coins, which takes a while, and then places it on the table and puts it back in their pocket.
Can I ask you something?
Of course.
I've had a lot of people walk in here. Some of them talk to their animals, some of them try and talk to him. Walking Dead! But, you seem to carry a conversation.
Yes, I have that ability to speak to most natural beings in the world.
Hmm. How do you learn something like that?
Years of training.
Good to know. Don't do it! Oh, don't worry, I won't.
If you wish, you can come and visit me at the guild hall. I may be able to teach you some things.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Don't do it!
Now that rooms are settled, perhaps you would be so kind as to point us into the direction of the warmer side.
On one condition.
Yes.
You don't spend a single goddamn copper in that son of a... You don't patronize.
I am not one to patronize much of anything, but if you don't wish me to insult him, I guess that should be a...
Oh, no, insults are welcome. I mean, do not give him any coin. The man is perhaps a good pie maker, but a charlatan and a thief and a liar.
I do not eat pie, so that is not a problem.
Klaus looks over at Kunskap and says to them, "He's not a liar! He's
Yes,
good
stolen.
pie!
How many pies have you stolen?
Many pies! So many pies! Good pies!"
I will keep your secret for now, my friend, but I would suggest to reduce the amount of tension between your friend and the grumpy pieman to reduce your acquisition of such things.
Maybe. Good pies.
I know ravens in their culture have something of a give and take. I have less dealings with crows, but from my understanding, you are brothers and sisters of the flock, and perhaps payment of some sort would be equitable to the pie maker.
Pay for pies.
Yes.
He takes
Unless
him
you
in.
wish,
Oh, go ahead.
unless you wish to be turned into said pie. I have heard in some cultures, pies made from birds are a interesting delight.
Klaus sort of like hops back, and he looks around for a moment, and he like hops over to a like a fork that's placed on the bar top, and he grasps it in his little bird talons, and he like flaps over to Brory and drops the fork by him, and then looks up at Kunskap. For pies.
Yes, this is a good trade. I agree with this. Turns to Brory. Klaus wishes to trade this fine utility for a for your pies.
And
The
he just-
ones I just gave him.
What was that?
The ones I just gave him.
Well, yes, an after services have been provided payment, I suppose, would be. He's trying to make good on a transaction.
Oh, thank you. I pick up the fork and put it in my bag, I guess.
My friend, turning to the dwarf, I have tried to make it known to Klaus that a trading opportunity might be a little bit more equitable to the bird as well as the individual of which you hate so much. This may cause less tension between your two establishments.
Are you suggesting that he's stealing pies?
I am suggesting that if he desires pies, a payment would be more friendly taken than any other ideals of what a pie is worth.
Well, of course, you gotta pay for what you take, but my sweet Klaus would never do that.
Of
Never
course.
steal someone's pies.
I agree, but now Klaus will be able to acquire his own pies through a transaction, a trade even, between himself and anyone he wishes to acquire a pie from.
He looks down at Klaus and goes, "Oh, you're just giving away my silverware now, huh?" Ah!
Well,
Slaps a
might I,
little bit.
why might I suggest as the main charismatic draw to your establishment, a payment may be given to Klaus for his pie needs.
You want me to pay my bird so that he can go buy pies?
Yes. Well, it really is no skin off my proverbial back, but it's just a suggestion.
Turner's gonna pull out 2 silver and put it by Klaus.
Klaus looks at it and then he just pecks it, and then he
Klaus, and
starting to drag one of the 2 coins away.
perhaps if you give these 2 coins to the pie maker, there will be a slightly better outcome.
I don't appreciate the insinuation that Klaus has stolen any of these pies.
I do believe the only insinuation I made is that Klaus likes pies, and it would be good for Klaus to be able to pay for said pies.
Well, maybe I'll buy Klaus some pies, but I'm not buying them from that lying, two-faced goblin hugger. Not doing it.
Sorry, did you say hugger or hooker?
Hugger? If that's what you're into, that's totally fine. You could definitely go find something in your flavor in the entertainment district, I'm sure. But nope. Also, not to be that guy, but if a goblin hooker makes a pie, you should think twice before you eat it. Might have mud in it.
Kunskap will stand and turn to Klaus and says, "Anytime you wish to visit me, I'm over at the..." And Kunskap will describe the building, not knowing if Klaus will know the term guild.
Big building. I know this. Big building.
Kunskap is slowly building his secret CIA of animals in the city.
Harry the platypus.
That's the first thing I thought of too.
I do believe we must go to this pie maker.
Yeah, before it becomes too dark.
Well, your rooms will be ready
Yes.
for you when you get back.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, friend.
Head outside.
Sure. Yeah.
We head to the warmer side.
Yeah, you guys head back out into the relatively busy streets of Southreach and begin making your way back towards the Silver Docks, because that's close. That's where the warmer side is close to. If there's anything you guys want to do in the meantime on your way there, you are welcome to do so.
I'm going to ask, were we able to hear Klaus saying "Walking Dead"?
Yes,
Or was
yes.
that only to Kunskap?
No, absolutely, you were able to hear that. Yeah.
Okay. I wonder if this Walking Dead is the fish monsters we saw before.
I do believe that the Klaus was trained in certain ways to bring in those of spiritual, supernatural ideals into the establishment, possibly paying a little bit more for rooms said to be haunted. If you like, when you stay for the night before I go back to my lodgings, I will attempt to see if anything exists within that building.
Probably for the best.
I wonder if there are ghosts staying in those rooms.
It's unlikely.
I have never met a ghost. But I had never met a fish monster either. Just fish. No fish monster. This is all very new to me.
My people are known to speak to the dead on occasion when the need arises.
I've seen many dead things. None have ever spoken before.
Said
But
your people.
I did not try to speak to them either.
Which brings me to a magical question, dear D. If I were to get the ability Speak with Dead and also combine it with Speak to Animal, can I talk to my dinner?
No, I think there is going to be a hard rule on talking to anything that's been cooked.
Ah, I see.
Although, fair question.
You said your people can talk to the dead. Is that the skills you have?
If the gods will it, I will attain that skill soon.
That is interesting. It's good to know. I may request of your services when that time comes, if you are so inclined.
Usually, however, it requires a body to speak with.
Let's see. I'll bear that in mind as well.
So you reach the warmer side, and from the outside, this is very clearly a nicer establishment. Well kept. The wood and sort of brick overlay that it is made up of seems like it's constantly kept clean and polished and varnished, and is honestly one of the nicer places on the block where it resides. Uh, the only downside that you can really see, if you would call it a downside, is the lingering smell of the sea and the occasional waft of fish from its closeness to the silver docks.
And it's not like a stall, it's like a building.
No, it's a building. It's another inn and tavern. And
Let's head inside then.
you go in, and again,
We
this
enter.
stark contrast. The place is significantly busier. Most of the tables are filled. Half of the bar is full of people. There's a lot of cross talking and just errant sounds that sort of fill the place. Across the walls are different sort of homey feeling knickknacks. There's like all sorts of paintings and drawings, and a couple of just random things here. There's a sword mounted on one of the walls, uh, and a couple of like tapestries that sort of hang. It very much has a nicer feel to it, and there's a relatively large fireplace that's sort of crackling with a large cauldron pot ahead of it. You sort of have to push your way through the crowd to get towards the bar top. And when you do, the outside smell of the sea and fish is almost entirely replaced by this incredibly sweet, aromatic smell of apple and cinnamon and sugar. And soon after, you notice at one of the display shelves on the bar top are just a series of pies, each one very sort of intricately designed and carefully laid out.
Is there like a bell or something, or do I have to just yell it?
No, you just there's no bell or anything that you notice. After a moment, though, a tabaxi a Maliko woman approaches you, and she has this sort of like gray, black striped fur, and she's carrying a couple of mugs, and she goes, "Hello, welcome to the warmer side. I do not know if you will be able to find a table, but there is room at the bar top. You are welcome to."
Thank you very kindly, but we are here less on the business of eating pie, and more hoping to speak with Fletch for but a moment.
Well, if you would take a seat, I will go see if he is available to speak right now. But I will warn you, he is a busy man, and he really should be here on the business of pies. You are missing out if you do not.
Hmm. Thank you for the recommendation. It will wait.
In the meantime, can I get you anything to drink or to eat? For
He's
you
gonna
or
turn and
your
look at the group.
Actually, it's fine, but thank you.
Toby would like to sit at the bar.
Absolutely.
Thank you, but I think we are all right.
For a moment, she just sort of stares at Aksha. We don't see too many of you around
Oh, small.
here. Small, scaly ones.
Oh,
Do you happen to be a relation to Snako?
Snacko? No, not related to Snacko. But I like Snacko. Snacko is nice.
Oh, Snako is wonderful. All right. I will go see if Fletch has a moment. I will be a couple of minutes because I have other duties to attend to as well. You will excuse me, I hope. She makes her way out through the crowd.
Is there a place where we can all sit, or is it kind of
There's enough seats at the bar top that you guys can sort of just settle in all together. Toby may not be able to sit at the bar though. You will probably have to stand.
What type of seating devices do they have?
It's like stools. It's
Are
like
they
Sit
gonna-
on the
round.
floor and still reach the counter.
Are they gonna very clearly break if I sit on one?
Yes, yeah. You will end up with a broken stool and splinters in your butt.
Okay, so as we get there, I'm gonna like try to see if I can do the thing and like push two of them together, but I'm gonna look down and just be disappointed because I'm gonna count how many of us there are and how many seats are available and just go and I'll turn and I'll look down at Aksha and just be like, oh, okay, go. Like you said.
Okay.
Hannah's gonna remain standing as well because she doesn't really need to sit.
Unskap will sit.
So after a few minutes, from behind the bar top, this man comes over, who fits the basic description that you got for Fletch, from Pavush. And he's just sort of like cleaning out a glass rather aggressively, like a mug. And he leans forward with his elbows on the bar top and he goes, "Ah, I heard you was looking for me."
Yes. We were hoping that you might have a moment to discuss Moscow.
Yeah, yeah, good kid. How's he doing?
Everybody get their insight checks ready.
Well, unfortunately, he has been missing. His mother is seeking him, and we are hoping to help her find him.
Uh, I know she's been around. I thought he left.
It does not seem so.
It seems he has vanished without a explanation as to why or how.
Real strange. He was a good kid. Very devoted to making pies. I wouldn't
When
have
did
been
you-
teaching him otherwise. I mean, well, that and the money.
When did you last see him?
It's been a good, I'd say, 2 weeks. I figured he had gotten what he needed, packed up and left.
Insight check for that.
Yeah, go for it.
That's pretty good. 20.
And a 12 from Kunskap.
It does seem like he's being forthcoming.
Okay.
He, as far as you can tell, he does legitimately believe what he's saying.
You mentioned coin. He was paying for his lessons?
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna give away my secrets for free.
Did he pay you directly, or was someone else paying for him?
No, he paid me up front. Good amount of gold too.
Do you know if he did business with anyone else in hopes of possibly as a way to fund that?
Not as far as I know. I know he said he was here to try and learn some new skills, and then he planned to head out on his way. He was gonna go back home and open up a shop out there.
Do you know of any friends he might have had?
He didn't really talk to too many people, as far as I know. He was pretty focused on his goal, although uh, he did move out. Said that he had found somewhere else to stay. So I mean, he must have had someone else he was talking to.
He lived here.
He had a room upstairs. It was part of what he was paying for, along with the lessons.
Do you know where he moved to?
No idea. He just told me he had worked out living arrangements, and that then he was gone. He would still come back for the lessons, of course, until he didn't. At which point I figured he was done. He had learned what he needed and was going home to make his money. He was good at it too, I gotta say. Not have you had the pie yet?
What kind
No.
of pie do you have?
Apple.
Only apple?
For now, yeah, it's just apple. See, I have to work with what comes in and out, because otherwise I'm gonna have to work with the pears and the fish, and I'm not doing that. So
Hmm.
So we got lucky and got a big supply of apples recently, so I've been cranking out those apple pies. I'll tell you what though, it's some real good pie. Absolutely great pie. He had gotten real good at it, not quite as good as I am, but he was getting there. He was definitely
Was
getting
he-
there.
Was he close to anyone here besides yourself?
Uh, not as far as I know. You could. mm, I could probably ask around with the staff, but there weren't too many people he spoke to. He was pretty quiet, didn't friendly kid, but he just didn't really socialize all that well, from what I could tell. It was kind of socially awkward.
May I ask, when did he move out?
About a month back, month and a half maybe. He's been gone for 2 weeks. Yeah, I'd say maybe a month and a half. He moved out.
Did he leave anything behind? Any items?
Um, you mentioned his mother's around.
Yes.
Is group you working for her?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm not one to let strangers run all willy nilly, but I'll tell you what. Uh, if you want, no one's been in the room since. You can go check it out. 20 minutes. But if I find out anything's missing, town guard will find you.
If there is anything we wish to take, we will bring it to you first, in case it is helpful for our investigations.
I appreciate that greatly. He was a good kid. If he has gone missing and he didn't just go home, then I hope that whatever is going on, you find out. I'm absolutely happy to help however I can.
Thank you very much for your time and cooperation.
Just, don't break anything. He says as he slams the key down on the bar top, slides it over to the group of you.
Kuhnskop takes the key and goes to the room, I suppose.
Sure.
Do we all fit in the room?
Yeah, you can all fit in the room. You have to duck down a bit to get in, but
Big room.
it's a pretty standard like room at an inn. It does seem like it's been cleared out, at least at first glance. There don't seem to be anything left laying around in the like small wardrobe or in the chest. There's nothing that immediately jumps out at you.
Investigation.
Yeah, go for it. And if you
I
want,
roll?
so two people can roll this if they want. If someone else wants to.
Can I roll perception instead?
I'll do a
Uh,
investigation.
No, I'm gonna need an investigation for this.
So that goes 20.
Well, apparently I can't roll above a 10 today.
So Kutskop seems to sort of you get sort of enamored with this strange collection of dust in the corner,
Hmm.
wondering what it might mean.
It's probably a sign from the gods.
Ah, perhaps.
Hmm.
And just as you're sort of working through that in your head, Brory, you find a coin, but it's not. It seems to have fallen underneath the bed, and when you sort of crouch down and look underneath, you see a glint of it. You reach in and you pull it out, I assume.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like it's currency. It's slightly strangely shaped, and the symbol on it is a symbol that roll me a religion check.
This is gonna be. Or not.
Oh,
About 23.
Nice. So you recognize it relatively quickly as being the symbol of the goddess Ozanti.
Zanti?
Ozanti is the goddess of sleep and peace.
Okay. Uh, I'm gonna use a spell slot. Detect magic. See if there's anything in the room that is off.
Sure. There doesn't seem to be anything in the room that particularly lights up your
And the coin
detect
itself
magic.
isn't magic
No,
either,
the
right?
coin itself does not seem to be magic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Turn to the group. Show them the coin. I think this is the symbol of Ozanti.
This dust mote is speaking to me.
I turn to the rest of them.
Perhaps we can bring that back to his mother and see if he did indeed worship this god.
Toby
This is a
would
solid
recognize
plan.
this. Toby has a nightcap blessed by Ozanti that has the same logo on it.
Yes, it does.
So Toby's gonna pull that out and say, I think that coin is blessed.
It's not magic, but maybe it has some. What is that hat?
Oh, Toby found this on one of his many excursions. This helps Toby sleep well.
Why would Moscow leave something important if it helps him sleep?
You should probably bring this back to the mother and possibly bring it up with the sergeant tomorrow, the officer tomorrow.
We can also, at some point, perhaps bring it to a temple and see if they can tell us anything about it.
Someone should try sleeping with the coin tonight.
All right, I'll give that a go.
Toby has not had a bad night's sleep since Toby got this nightcap.
All right. Is there anything else that we should? Anything else that sticks out to anyone here?
Extra thorough.
Is there a bed?
There is a bed, yes.
No notes, no papers.
No notes, no papers, no quills or ink, no clothes, nothing.
Can I flip the bed and look under it?
Yeah, I'm moving the furniture around.
Sure, roll me a strength check, Toby.
Sure.
So D20 plus your strength modifier.
Yeah, I just gotta see where it is. That's okay. I'm gonna hurt my back.
Oh, my back!
14.
Yeah. You with one hand, you sort of grab the underside of the bed and boom, lift it up. There doesn't seem to be anything underneath it. There's a mouse that's just like it flees. But no, other than that, there's nothing that seems to be under the bed besides the coin that Rory found.
I ungracefully kind of just dropped the bed back on the floor,
Boom.
possibly startling someone downstairs.
And Girna, there's not much furniture to move, but you move like the one chair and the little like desk and the chest, and yeah, there doesn't seem to be anything else around.
Okay. She, in contrast to Toby, she's very careful with the things that she moves. Puts them back as exactly as she can.
Yeah, the bed is kind of like at an angle now. This is a slight crack up one of the wooden legs. It's fine.
All right. I believe we have covered this as well as we can.
After getting his divine messages from a loose hair, Kunskap stands and goes over to the coin and takes a look at it. I think we should show this to our host before we go, just in case. We don't want to cause any undue tension between us and him, should he come up with any more information before we bring it
Yes.
to the mother.
You gave your
That's fair.
word, and it is good to keep it.
May I? And Kunskap reaches
Sure.
their hand out to the.
Give it to them and
Kunskap goes downstairs and goes to the owner if he's about and says, we found this, which may assist us in our searchings of the boy. We're going to bring it to the mother to see if she knows anything about this.
So as you come down the stairs, you see there's a gnomish gentleman who one of the wait staff is sort of like dabbing down with a rag, who seems to be sort of covered in some kind of drink, and she's furiously apologizing. Although you can't hear from where you are what that is about. And as you approach Fletch, who is still behind the bar, he looks over and he goes, "What was that?" He points out.
We moved a piece of furniture to get to this.
You break anything?
everything is intact.
Good.
Wait, didn't you say there was a crack in one of the pieces of furniture?
I did.
Didn't Kunskap notice this crack?
No, I can't imagine he would. He was pretty enamored with his God's message of dust and hair.
Then they will say, no, we didn't break anything.
So, Fletch looks at the. You're holding up the coin, right?
Yes.
So Fletch looks at it and he reaches out to sort of take the coin from them. Do you mind?
No.
He takes it. And says, oh, I can tell you what this is. Kind of like flips it back at you.
It clinks off the mask and Kunskap reaches down.
It just lands on the bar top. Got some good reflexes there. That's a token for the shelter run out of the Church of Ozanti.
Shelter.
It gets you a night in one of the beds. I don't know
Interesting.
why he'd have it.
Another thing to add to our list of places.
Strange.
Well, this possibly will help our investigation, so we thank you. If there was anything left asunder, I will be staying at the guild hall outside. I do not wish to have any bad blood between someone who's been so helpful and ourselves.
I appreciate that. If it becomes an issue, I'll definitely send someone to find you, or I'll come talk to you myself and we can work it out. I appreciate everything that you're getting up to. And I hope he's alright.
We do as well. Thank you for your time.
Where's the group? You got somewhere to stay tonight?
Yes, I do. I'm staying outside of the guild, and there's a guild member who's been able to assist with some of the work and motioning to Brory for lodgings.
Oh, good. All right. Well, if you need, let me know. I can give you a discount on the rooms.
Of course. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Tension avoided.
Well done.
And I guess we walk outside and with the coin, and Kunskap will turn to the others and say, "So this is an interesting turn of events, a shelter for someone who's already has a place to stay. Unless, of course, the lodgings he had were too expensive and he was forced to take a cheaper route."
I don't think this is the case. He was paying quite a bit of gold for the lessons, and I don't think that this investor was going to make it so that he needed to sleep in a shelter. But that is just my guess.
Hmm. Do we need to go to the mother, or do we just go to the shelter?
Perhaps we should go to the shelter.
About what time is
Door
it?
ID.
It's starting to get a bit into the evening. You're a little after, I would say 6 o'clock.
Perhaps tomorrow?
Probably a good idea.
How long did it take us to walk here from? No.
From the Quiet Night.
Yeah, from the Quiet Night.
About 30 or some odd minutes. But it's quite a long walk to having made the walk from East Seat to the guild, the financial district for the guild hall, and the civic district being along just next to there. It's quite a long walk because you'll be walking a large portion of the city to get from one side to the other. You'll have to go around the Dominestica, and yeah, that by itself is already exercise.
So shelter before dark seems like a good idea.
This talk of Walking Dead concerns me with the things that we have seen.
And we still need to check for ghosts.
And
I will return with you all to alleviate any issues of the undead or spirits left unpassed. I do have a inkling that it is all for show, but we can go, and before I retire for the evening.
Kunskap, roll me a perception.
Well, with my rolls today, I don't believe this is going to go well.
got this.
Wow, it's a 10. Still not above a 10, but the 10. So a 16 altogether.
Kunskap, as you're speaking with the group, you notice movement, just the barest bit of strange movement that seems to break through the crowd around you to your back. And while it doesn't necessarily cause you concern, there is a recognizable amount of unease with how it seemed to have responded to the turning of your head.
Kunskap will notice this and without a word begin walking in that direction.
Sure. So for the party, they see you just sort of, Kunskap just turns around and they start heading in the other direction.
Yana pauses for a minute and then kind of shrugs and follows.
Same.
Follow suit.
Go this way.
Is this the opposite direction of?
Yes, this is back towards the warmer side. So for a moment, Kunskap, you don't see wherever that movement originated from, between just the giant crowd of people walking to and fro. But after a moment, you see a short figure in a hooded dark cloak just sort of stop. And there's a moment where from underneath the hood, your eyes sort of meet. And even though you can't hear it, you can clearly see as their mouth goes, shit. And they take off, cutting down an alley.
Give me a moment.
Sure.
Are we close enough to Scott to see this happen?
You would. All of you would notice this small figure take off running, breaking away from the crowd. But that's the only part of this you would notice.
How far is the small figure away from us?
About 10 feet from you when they break out into that run.
Kunskap goes to all fours and begins running after this target.
Sure.
I'll follow suit.
Yep, give and chase.
Same.
Okay. So everyone's chasing?
Charge.
Which is probably a horrifying image of a robed figure suddenly going on all fours and running quicker than most people would be able to on two.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an
Being
absolute
followed by this party.
nightmare.
Let me know if I get within 30 feet of it.
Well, here's what we're
Someone
going
pick
to
up
do.
Aksha.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna enter into a chase scene, which is gonna work sort of like an extended skill challenge. So what I'd like to do is I'm gonna have everybody roll initiative, and then from there we're gonna go through initiative with you guys essentially having the freedom to tell me what it is that you'd like to do to try and close the distance, deter this person, or otherwise deal with the situation. And then you're going to roll the associated check for that. And you'll have to hit a certain number of successes before a certain number of failures. If you succeed, you will catch them. If you fail, they will get away. So for now, initiative. Oh my god.
20.
Right.
As long as I'm not making an attack, I roll well.
Right.
Yeah, Rory is
Otherwise,
like
I
on
just hit a
fire.
Literally.
Third. 16.
Okay, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Are you?
Oh no.
Ooh.
Kunskap, what's happening?
In combat, I get the ones. Out of combat, he gets the ones.
That
The
does
agreement
seem
we've made
You're,
with the
you're
universe.
skittering at like 1 mile per hour.
The worst part about that is it was a 19 until it hit the edge of the green and then fell to a 1.
Oh. Okay, so 20 plus.
Eight.
What did you get, Rory?
20.
Okay. 19 to 15. Uh, 14 to 10.
10. Everybody else slow.
9 to 5.
8.
Uh, 5 to 1.
3, 1, a 2.
Okay, so Rory, you're up first.
All
So
right.
you can any skill you would like in any way that you would like to describe. Just sort of free form for you guys to do what you would like.
I'd want to just try barreling my way through the crowd. Just force my way through
Yeah, absolutely.
like people.
Why don't you roll me in athletics and we'll see how well you can just sort of power your way through knocking people left and right.
I can do that. Church. As soon as initiative hits. That's an 8.
So you just like lean yourself forward and start charging like the large lion gentleman that you are. And the first couple people fall by the wayside very easily, and then you run face first into just this giant brick wall of an orc and are stopped in your path. And he looks at you and he just sort of watch where you're going, pal.
I step to the side and continue on.
Sure, and it has slowed you down a bit.
Yeah. But that means that Coonscap's gonna roll amazing.
Well, because now you're in initiative, right?
Exactly.
Guna, you're up.
I'm gonna try and just weave my way through the crowd as I chase after this guy.
Just sort of like swerving between bodies.
Yeah, using my beat boop body to kind of move in unnatural ways that will help me, slither on through.
Sure. You can roll me an acro if you want, acrobatics for that. As you just sort of.
Plus 2. 19.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so you're just sort of, and everyone will notice that her arms and body just sort of shift at impossible angles as she sort of pushes her way between these people, narrowly avoiding contact at every moment, even if it leaves some looking quite unsettled by it. Toby, you're up.
Having seen Girna do this, Toby is gonna try to follow suit. And he's going to, as quickly as he can, try to get through these people without bumping into them because he knows he's large.
Awesome. If you want, you can also roll me in acrobatics. I'm fine with that.
$22.
Yeah, so you just sort of take off. And at first, people are sort of like throwing themselves out of your way for fear of being barreled over. But you just keep like bobbing and weaving and dipping and ducking between people almost impossibly gracefully. There comes a point as you like turn a corner and hit an alleyway where there's not really a lot of room to maneuver, but you just sort of like jump up at the wall and pad off the wall for a moment or two to sort of curve around someone in your way, leap over the next person, and you're just going. Nothing is slowing you down.
Polar parkour.
Polar parkour.
Awesome.
Some of those fish you got to keep up with.
Yeah. You ever seen a giant eel?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You gotta trick it into tangling itself up, right? Alright, Akshay, you're up.
Aksha's going to roof hop, so he's going to fly onto a rooftop and run that way.
I dig it. So do you want to roll me in athletics for powering through? I'll give you a +2 because you don't have to worry about dealing with any people in your way.
Okay. His athletics aren't good, so I will try.
Yeah.
That was so
Yay.
close.
Well, that's what what happened to me almost happened to her.
Yeah. So that's a 19 in total, or
I have a negative to strength, but you said I got +2, so it'd just be +1.
okay, so 20.
So 20.
Yeah, and you fly up onto one of the nearby roofs and are just off. And you probably have the best view of this person as you're leaping from rooftop to rooftop. And you see them; they don't even have to weave through most people. A lot of them they can just go under or between the legs of as they're trying to create distance. And while Brewery does seem to be falling behind a bit, you, Girna, and Toby all seem to be keeping up very well.
Okay.
So as Girna and Toby, as the two of you start sort of closing the gap, you see the figure sort of slide underneath the handles of a cart, and as they vanish behind it, there's a moment before the cart sort of swings backwards, scattering produce all across the street. Uh, and the figure sort of disappears into the group of people that are sort of gathering around the commotion. Kunskap, you're up.
I can do one of two things. I can either be crazy or I can be simple.
It's Kunskap. They generally do fall into one of those pretty
Yeah.
clearly.
Crazy.
I don't know. They seem like a very
Crazy.
simple fella.
Kunskap would like to call out to any rats and or birds in the area using either a nature or survival check to try to get them to slow this individual down.
Are you trained in nature?
Yes.
I will allow you to make a charisma nature check.
Meaning what?
Meaning, instead of using wisdom as your base, you would use charisma as your base. But I'll also give you advantage on it.
Okay, so
So charisma plus proficiency, or
Yeah. Because I assume you're proficient with nature.
yeah.
unless your expertise.
So
or
it'd
something.
be
Yeah.
slash roll 1d20 plus 2 proficiency plus 1 charisma at advantage.
And you were calling out to you said mice and
Rats, the rats well, all the rats are
the
probably
rats.
related.
Yeah.
Or my crow friends, my raven friends.
Bird bomb just directly on this guy's face.
So if it
That is a
wasn't
20, that's a 21.
Yeah, if it wasn't already terrifying seeing this person sort of running forward haphazardly on all fours, they just start making noises that shouldn't be coming out of a person's mouth. And after a couple of moments, there's a skittering noise that all of you, except Aksha, hear. And mice and rats begin sort of appearing in scattered groups throughout the streets, running in the direction of this hooded figure. Aksha, you notice a couple of ravens come sort of dive bombing in from either side of you and also begin to join in the chase, diving down into the crowd at different points. And each time that they do, the people disperse, leaving only that one cloaked figure very clear to see, trying to swat off the attack from the avian forces. Rory, you're up.
If most of the crowd is parted from him, would I be able to run within 30 feet of him?
You could I'd say you could get within 30 feet.
Okay. I'm gonna try to get as close as possible to him. Pull up my left sleeve and aim my grappling hook at him.
Ooh, I like it. Sure. Why don't you roll?
That would be
It'd usually be a
athletics.
grapple attack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could roll athletics or
Here we go. Thank you, initiative. So yeah,
that's crazy. What is
he
that in
can-
total?
11. He can contest that. He
Uh,
probably will.
So you fire off your grappling hook, and because you're still running as you do, you end up like bumping shoulders with someone, and the hook just sort of goes wide, crashing into part of a stall that's been set up and bringing it down. Unfortunately, it's after they had run past, and there's this crashing sound as things just sort of splay out into the street, and someone goes, "My ceramics!"
Not my cabbages.
Not my cabbages and not my gadgets, which also would have been good. All right, Girna, you're up.
Um, I would like to, as I'm giving chase, pick up one of the things that fell and throw it at their head.
Sure, yeah, you can do that. Roll me a dex at no, yeah, a strength attack. Yeah. A strength thrown attack. You can do that. That's fine. You don't add your proficiency though, because you're not proficient with throwing stuff.
Okay. But I have my strength modifier.
Yeah.
22.
So you huck this thing and it goes flying through the air. One person is like, ah, and like ducks out of the way, and it barely goes over their head, and then you hear a crashing sound as it hits the shoulder of this individual and sends them stumbling. As they try and catch their footing, they step on one of the rats, which forces them to sort of pull their weight back and sends them tumbling forward, slowing them significantly. And they begin to like clamber back to their feet, trying to continue the run. Aksha, you're up.
Aksha's gonna keep going and trying to cut them off from the rooftop. So do I keep doing athletics or can I do acrobatics?
You could
As
do
far as
either one if you'd like. Yeah,
acrobatics, since he's on the roof.
sure. Yeah, go for it.
Come on, roll. $21.
Ooh. All right. Do you want to describe how you catch this person?
Aksha is just cruising and doing backflips and flying over these rooftops. And then when he gets within striking distance, he's just going to dive off that rooftop and land on him. Wings go as he hits him and then pins him to the ground,
Very awesome.
or that person to the ground. Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
and
Aksha.
you pin them, and there's a moment of just panic as their hood slips back, revealing these sort of pure black eyes and sharp teeth. And as the hood falls further back, you see bright, short but bright red hair. You probably have never encountered anyone who looks quite like this before. They're about the size of a halfling, but the features are very odd. And they sort of like gnash at you with their teeth for a moment, and then she goes, "Get off me!" And the rest of you can catch up.
Do I recognize this person at all?
Everybody roll me a percentile.
81.
69.
57.
10?
73.
Hirna, you've seen someone who looks like this before. You know that it's incredibly uncommon because as a people, they don't really exist on this plane, but that's a leprechaun. The leprechaun are fey creatures that very rarely will leave the Feywild. Back when there was a way to leave the Feywild, and when when Ila Warthod happened many, many, many years ago, there just weren't very many on the prime material plane, and since then, even less. And it's very rare that anyone will come across a person of leprechaun lineage.
A leprechaun.
At that, I would assume that sparks something within Kunskap.
Like what?
Kunskap's people's dealings with the Fae.
Can you be a little more specific?
I don't wish to give anything away.
Okay, then is it something you can send me a message for?
Yes.
Awesome. So it doesn't inherently make anything jump out at you, Kunskap. But this leprechaun woman just sort of looks around at the group of you. Again, she looks up at Aksha and goes, "Get off of me!" Trying to like push you off to no avail.
Guessing.
No, actually, you must stay still. Just stay still.
I'm guessing there are a few rats tugging at their sleeves.
Yeah, there are she rats, and there are ravens circling the group of you.
Kunskap.
People are starting to sort of gather. This is definitely a commotion.
Kunskap will thank them for their help and say that they may go back to their daily activities.
And the ravens sort of fly off. Most of the rats leave, but one of them just sort of like keeps tugging at the sleeve and has to be sort of dragged away by two other rats. They're like, "Hey, let me at him! Let me at him!" Just pulled away.
So, why were we chasing this person? Why were you running from us?
Why were you chasing me?
Who are you?
No one you have to worry about. Let me go.
Kunskap will kneel down next to their head and look down at them and say, "See, I felt if I am mistaken, I greatly apologize, but it seemed like you were following me."
And you and Aksha both notice her completely black eyes go wide a little bit as they say that. No, why would I be following you? She's lying.
I don't know why you would be following me. That's why I was curious as to why, and also as soon as I looked in your direction, you ran quite quickly, seemingly suspicious.
You're terrifying. The guards are gonna be here soon. You gotta let me go.
Then perhaps it would be in your best interest to tell us what you want to know quickly.
Fine, let's go somewhere. I'll tell you what you want to know, but we gotta get out of here now.
Kunskap will stand and look over at Toby and say, "Well, just make sure they don't get away," and start moving down the alleyway to get away from the crowd. Perhaps some of the rats even make a barrier between them as they get away.
Where are
Especially
we going?
the racious one.
Where are we
Kira would
going?
like to pick this person up.
Is Aksha gonna let Girna do that?
But yes, if Girna's there, Aksha will relent.
Sure. So Girna, when you say pick up, how up are we talking? Like to standing, or are you like
No, like over my shoulder.
potato sack?
Yeah.
Oh my god, why? Stop!
We should maybe go back towards our inn. Didn't seem very busy there.
Yes, if you
I
could go
don't
there.
I don't know if the proprietor of that location would be very keen on us bringing a fighting individual into their establishment. Um, that may raise suspicion and possibly an upcharge on your rooms for the evening.
You
Your rat
already
friends?
caught me. What am I gonna do? Put me down. I can walk.
Yes, that if you can walk, you can also run. And I do not feel like chasing you again.
I won't run. Just this is humiliating. Put me down.
Only if you hold my hand.
Fine. I'll
going to-
hold your hand.
I'm gonna put them
And-
down and very firmly clasp their hand.
As that happens, Toby is going to come up on her other side and grab her other like forearm.
Just the whole, yeah, you can get the wrist, the forearm, the hand,
Yeah,
you can get it all in your, you're like, yeah.
So Kuhnskap will lead the troop into a more solitary area of the alleyways, and then sit down at the with their back towards the wall and just kind of stare at the individual for a moment. So, why were you following me?
After I tell you, you're gonna let me go, right?
Most likely.
She says as she looks around. I guess I'm not really in any position. She like yanks at both her hands, just to try and see if she can, to no avail. I overheard you talking in the quiet night. And, I wanted to see what you were up to.
We are looking for a individual who has gone missing. Do I know what leprechauns are, at least?
You would probably have heard of them once or twice, but you'll never. This is the first time you're ever seeing one.
Considering your own secretive nature, I'm wondering why that's our investigations brought you forward to even reveal yourself in any way.
And you see her sort of stop and sort of gauge things and contemplate for a moment. Well, you were asking about the kid, right? And if they had any friends.
Aksha wants to talk to her and uses persuasion.
Yeah, what does
Two.
Aksha want to say?
What's my persuasion? +6. Oh, that was a bad. 8.
So yeah, what does Aksha want to say?
Aksha says, you were friend with Moscow. Can you tell us more about where Moscow might have gone?
Never something for nothing, right? Look, I might have some information, but it doesn't come free, and it doesn't come from me. But my boss might be able to help you out.
Who is your boss?
Who is my boss? Who's my boss? The Hand is my boss. God, you guys must really be new to this city.
Do I look like someone who's spent a lot of time in the city?
You look like someone who spends a lot of time outside alone.
Yes.
All right. So if your freedom is not enough incentive, perhaps a small reward in gold?
Look, here's what I'll say. My freedom is plenty incentive, all right? It's fine. You let me go. Come come to the walls tonight and I think I can help you out. Well, my boss can help you out.
Sounds fair enough. Where in the walls?
Just come to the walls. I'll find you.
Okay.
But don't go telling anyone about this.
Can I insight check? I feel this might be trapped.
Sure, yeah.
I shall join. But it is out of combat, so I don't.
Yeah, Mom says it's my turn to use the good dice.
Oh, is it? Oh no. That's not a good sign for you, Brory. I rolled a 23.
15?
They don't they don't seem to be telling you everything, but they don't seem to be malicious.
You want us to go tonight, you said.
Yeah.
What time tonight? Very late in the evening, or?
Yeah, anytime after dark.
Seems I will not be doing less readings tonight. How unfortunate.
Just
That is fine.
she like tugs at her hands again and then looks up at Toby and is like, do you mind?
So as she does this, I like pull her like a little bit closer. Like Girna is still holding onto the other arm, and I just like get real in close. One more question. What's your name?
Deirdre. I'm Deirdre. Deirdre Hedgehopper.
Okay. And I say, okay, and then let go.
And with her one free hand, she reaches into her cloak, and you see a flash of like a pouch. She reaches into the pouch. She moves very slowly as she does, and she pulls out a piece of parchment. And then she looks over at Girna and goes, "Huh? Where am I gonna go?"
Very well. And she lets go.
There's a rat behind, right in sight of them, going.
And so she reaches in, she pulls out like a piece of chalk, and she draws a symbol, and the symbol looks like a hand like this with like skeletal lines coming down each finger, and in the center there's this like round crest with a sort of starburst pattern and an eye in the center of it. She goes, "If look around, you'll see this, and it'll lead you where you need to go, and I'll find you and guide you the rest of the way. Don't go throwing my name around, and don't go out asking about. Just follow the signs, all right?"
Very well.
Unskop's very tarred and probably unwashed hand reaches out and grabs the piece of paper and looks at it. Does this symbol have any other significance that I can see?
No, nothing that you recognize as being significant.
Very well, we will see you tonight.
Can I go now?
Yes.
Okay. See you tonight. After dark. You show up
Yes.
before the sun goes down and the deal's off. You show up with anyone else and the deal's off. Any guards show up in the wall all of a sudden looking for stuff, we'll find you.
Unskop
only-
leans in and says, "No, we'll find you. It's fine, my friend." And the eyes glow.
you see her face kind of like fall a little bit.
We only seek the boy.
And then she turns to run off.
Well spotted, Kunskap Sokar.
Sorry, what was that?
Well spotted, Kunskap Sokar.
Nothing else I can perceive quite well, when the gods allow me to. Well,
And well caught, Aksha.
thank you, Akshat,
Yes.
for your assistance.
Not a problem.
It seems that our respite for the night has been postponed. Or our ghost hunting, as it may be.
You should perhaps have a meal before it becomes too dark and replenish yourselves.
Yes.
Toby did lots of running. He could use some food.
Perhaps we shall visit the host of you all tonight to procure some food and then do what we must. And maybe after eating, will take a quick glance and the lodgings to assuage you of any spiritual invasions while you sleep. So with that, I believe we go to the tavern.
With that, actually, I think this is where we're going to end this episode of DTA. Join us next week as our intrepid heroes gather at the tavern to discuss and plan their next moves. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight, and we'll see you next week.